didn't they just melt him into more of him? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, where he just come back as like a bigger version of himself? And
Yo.
Yeah, didn't he just add weight?
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at you flipping if I'm actually thinking you're acting different. Manic spitting sounds of manic depressing.
I wouldn't hire Chris Evans to do anything. No matter how desperate you are for a quarantine haircut, do not hire Chris Evans to do it. I guess he cut somebody's.
His dog.
Cut his dog's hair.
Yeah, whatever. That's
I don't give a shit. I would hire him just to be a handsome son of a bitch. Which is the better of the Chris's, do you think? What is there? Is Evans
and Hemsworth?
Hemsworth. No. There's another Chris.
Pine.
There's Pine.
And
Pratt.
Ooh. You know, I think I like Pratt.
You like Pratt?
But I think Pratt, he can make. He's funny.
Pratt is funny as shit.
Yeah.
He's a big reason why Guardians is good at all. You know what I mean? He's like a huge reason. The other reason would be the music.
Yeah.
Can we talk about these murders? Okay, so you got Pratt.
I like Hemsworth. Like the thing is, like, I like Hemsworth because he can be funny, and
he's funny.
He's a good-looking dude, Australian.
That's why he's funny, though. You see what I'm saying? If Chris Hemsworth was me and I came out with that comedy, people wouldn't laugh. People laugh because he's so fucking good looking. Yeah. They're like, oh, and he has a sense of humor. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He's not just like a guy who's going to take himself too serious.
Correct. So, you know.
I like. By the way, did you see Extraction on Netflix?
Not yet.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Good,
that's what I heard.
Action flick.
It's
like action. Non-stop action.
Hey, have you seen the Wick movies?
Yes.
Okay.
I was on them early.
Yeah, I had a conversation with somebody recently. What's the best action movie you've ever seen?
Ooh, man, bro.
I thought I'm gonna put out two. You think about this. I'm gonna put out two. My two.
Okay.
Now, my two ones are Marvel movies, action movies. First, let's talk about that.
They are.
You think a Marvel movie is an action movie? A lot of people don't agree with that.
No, it is an action movie.
Because that could reorder a whole list. See, it's not fair because Marvel plays off of my nostalgia of being a comic book nerd.
Right, and it's a superhero movie too.
It's kind of unfair. But then like Dark Knight, I don't think that's an action movie, even though that's still.
No, they're action movies. It's just that the thing is, what trumps it being an action movie is the comic book, the actual character,
and the plot too, and the plot also.
Right. Like these are people that like have these comics that you fell in love with, and then they make them into movies. And of course, it's going to be an action movie. It's not going to be any other type of movie.
Yeah. Well, I would argue the Dark Knight is more drama than it is action.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a drama that has action in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, you know, I think we lucked out, right? You know, because like we were just like in the age bracket we were in, right? There was like a good season for like action movies. Like, you know, because I mean, we kind of were raised in the Schwarzenegger type, you know, era. But like in like those like kind of late 90s, early 2000s, like, you know, like Con Air is like a great like action movie.
Yeah.
You know, or like, you know, but Equilibrium is a crazy action movie. You know, like those type of things. Yo, that's a hard one. So what are those two you said? So
I'm gonna say my two favorite action movies, and Keanu Reeves is in both of them. Is John Wick 3, which I think might be the best action movie I've ever seen. The knife scene is fucking crazy. One, they said let's take the chase up a level by slowing it down a little bit and putting him on a horse. All right, incredible. And then Matrix 2 I think is like one of my favorite. That car chase scene on the highway, that shit. Yeah. And at the time when he fights all the Agent Smiths, I remember. You know what it's like watching that? Is like, you ever see the memes of people talking about like when they were like they'll show like a screenshot of like NBA 2K like 3. You know what I mean? 2K03. And they'd be like, yo, we used to think this shit looked mad real, and it's just like a square head with like a darker hair than the face. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what Matrix 2 is. Like when you see the picture, when you see the fight of him fighting the Agent Smiths, at the time I remember thinking like, yo, this shit looks so real. How did they do this? But watching it today, it's like, damn, this shit look like trash. Like in comparison to how CGI looks now. But yeah, those I think are my two favorite action movies, man. You know what I mean? Like
that's good. I'm struggling right now, actually, because there's so many, you know, like I remember like John Wick, like the first one. I think I will always have to put it there because like it was, I remember nobody talked about it. There was no fanfare, right, around it, because there was like, oh, and Keanu was like, you know, I remember it, and if I'm correct, I'm gonna guess that it did better on the back end than it did like in theaters, right? Because that's what ended up happening. Or what I remember, like I didn't hear too much about it, whatever. And then I rented it from Redbox, and because I had seen everything, you know, like, so, you know, sometimes you go on these things where you kind of see everything. You're like, you know, I'm gonna try it, right?
Yeah.
And I remember seeing like the action. Like I hadn't really seen action like that before. That he was almost like punching with guns.
Yeah.
And that was like insane to me. And like, and then I remember passing that movie on to a friend who I know is like very, like he thinks like he won't even watch the Rockies because he thinks they're cheesy, right?
Okay.
So that, you know, that like he was like, it's an amazing movie
for sure.
You know what I mean? So I think, you know, I will have to put John Wick as far as like the first one for me. But I'm like right now it's just like that question like threw me off because like it's like there's so many movies, you know, and I guess there hasn't been that many good action movies in a long time that I'm more nostalgic. Like I love The Rock. You know, with Sean Connery and all that. Yeah. That was like one of my. I mean,
that's a good one.
Indiana Jones. Those movies. Those are like action adventure. You know, movies.
You know what that reminds me of? Like all the TNT movies. Do you have a favorite TNT movie?
What that they just show a bunch of times?
Yeah, like they're like, oh, TNT is doing this movie today.
Dude, this is the thing, because like The Rock to me was like The Rock and Con Air and like Face Off. Those three movies they were put on and here's the thing. Face Off at the time was a great movie. Yeah. Face Off now does not carry.
That movie has aged the worst. It's
aged the worst.
Yeah.
Con Air is still good because
that's Nicolas Cage's best work. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. He deserves an Oscar, an ESPY, a Nobel Peace Prize. He deserves all of it for Con Air.
Yeah, because there's almost something very like comic bookish.
Very comic bookish. Yeah.
Right. So it can still carry because it's not trying to be like somewhat realistic.
Yeah.
Face Off is I watched it. Oh no, we
watched it in AC together.
In AC, right?
Just tearing it apart. Just tearing it a fucking apart.
And the Rock was good. The Rock was good.
The Rock's a classic, but that to me is the least memorable one of those three.
Yeah.
When I think about them, like Face Off is memorable because of all the terrible parts. Face Off. You know what I mean? It's like, what is happening here? And then Con Air is just like a banger. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Like Con Air is I made a joke actually about one of these movies earlier today. I was on in the same conversation I was talking about the NFL. I was like, fucking Bruce Willis could be up on the Rock about to drill that shit in half and make the final call to his daughter, and the NFL will be playing a fucking game somewhere. You know what I mean? Which Armageddon, to bring us up, Armageddon is up there for me. That's like one of my favorite. I don't know if that's not an action. It's like a disaster. Yeah. Armageddon is a fire.
I mean, even if you think about like the Rambos, like you know, you know, like I mean, at the time, I mean, or Terminator. Like Terminator 2 is a freaking classic, bro.
Yeah, that's
so classic. Yeah, and the thing is, there's like I think one of the things is that when you think of some action movies, there's some movies that they're like all action, and then like Terminator, there's like a lot of dead spots, but then the action scenes are like insane, and it was groundbreaking at the time. Yeah. Like you were like,
well, and you know what's banging about Terminator 2 too is that that's like one of the few movies where you didn't feel like you didn't feel good about the villain losing that fight.
No.
You know what I mean? You were like, man, did they really win this one or did they just survive it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Arnold obviously beats the Predator. You know what I mean? He finally beats him. And now the Predator has murdered all of his friends essentially. But Arnold beats him. You know what I mean? And you don't think he's coming back, you're good to go. But when I left Terminator 2, I remember thinking like, but yo, can't he? Like, I don't know enough about this technology because didn't they just melt him into more of him? You know what I mean? Right. Like, wouldn't he just come back as like a bigger version of himself?
Didn't he just add weight?
You just make him more powerful a little bit, didn't you? Man, that was one of those ones that's just like, it felt like, man, you guys didn't win this fight. You know what I mean?
Have you seen Baby Driver?
Yo, I haven't. I've been like bullshitting on it.
Dude, you gotta watch it and let me know because like that movie is amazing, and I feel like it has replay value.
Yeah.
And I watched it in the movie theater, and it was amazing. It's a movie that like my wife like, and she's not a big replayer of movies. Like she doesn't want to watch the same movie over and over. But that one, she's like, oh man, I want to see Baby Driver. Like through the music and how they incorporate it into the movie is amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it. I haven't been watching too many movies.
So ready
when we did the podcast.
Yo. Won't catch me slipping if I'm actually thinking you're acting different. Mad, spitting sounds of manic, depressing, going through